The year is 627 AD. The frozen plains near Nineveh's ruins lie under an icy December sky. On one side, the powerful Persian Empire, led by General Rhahzadh, seeks to expand its dominion and maintain its grip on Western Asia and the Middle East. On the other side stands the Byzantine Empire under Emperor Heraclius, fighting desperately to reclaim lands lost in earlier conflicts and save Constantinople itself. The stage is set for one of the most decisive, bloody, and iconic clashes in the long history of these two ancient rivals. For decades, the Persians and Byzantines had been locked in a cycle of war and uneasy truces. The Sassanid Persians were once ascendant, sweeping through Byzantine territory, even sacking Jerusalem and taking the True Cross, a revered Christian relic. Meanwhile, the Byzantines, weakened by internal strife and relentless invasions, seemed on the verge of collapse. But Heraclius, an emperor who was as much a warrior as he was a ruler, resolved to turn the tide. Despite overwhelming odds, Heraclius launched a daring counteroffensive deep into Persian lands. His strategy was bold: strike at the heart of the enemy before they could regroup. His campaign struck terror into the Persian leadership, forcing them to recall their armies from Byzantine soil to defend their homeland. And now, on these frozen plains near Nineveh, the two armies would meet in a battle that would decide the future of both empires. The morning of the battle dawns with howling winds whipping over the frost-covered land. The Persian army is vast, its ranks gleaming with iron and gold. The elite Savaran cavalry, the pride of the Sassanid Empire, are mounted on powerful war horses, their lances and swords ready to tear through enemy lines. Rhahzadh knows they have the numbers and the morale. Victory seems almost certain. But Heraclius is no ordinary commander. His tenacity, cunning, and unmatched ability to inspire his troops have carried him through impossible odds before. The Byzantine forces are smaller, many of them weary from months on campaign. But they are disciplined, their ranks bolstered by Armenian allies who have joined the fight for their shared survival. Heraclius himself rides among them, clad in armor, his banner bearing the Christian Chi symbol fluttering in the icy wind. The clamor of war drums echoes across the field as the Persian army begins its charge. Thousands of horses thunder across the plain, their riders yelling war cries that seem to shake the very earth. The Byzantine lines brace for impact, their shields locked together into an unyielding wall of steel. The first clash is deafening. Persian cavalry slam into the Byzantine front line, and the air is filled with the shrieks of horses, the clash of metal, and the cries of men locked in brutal combat. The Savaran carve deep into the Byzantine ranks, but the disciplined Roman soldiers hold their ground, thrusting back with spears and cutting down the first wave of attackers. Heraclius watches from the rear, his sharp mind analyzing the chaos of the battlefield. He sees his forces begin to waver under the weight of the Persian advance. But this is where his brilliance shines. He orders his reserve cavalry to flank the Persian army, while sending his infantry into a carefully planned retreat, luring the overconfident Persians into a trap. The ploy works. As the Persian cavalry presses forward, they overextend themselves, leaving their flanks vulnerable. Heraclius seizes the moment. He leads his own cavalry in a thunderous countercharge, sweeping into the exposed Persian forces like a tidal wave. The disciplined Roman formations turn and push back with renewed ferocity, catching the Persians off guard. Rhahzadh rides into the thick of the battle, desperate to rally his troops. He knows that if the tide isn't turned soon, the battle, and possibly the war, will be lost. He challenges Heraclius to single combat, a bold gesture meant to inspire his men. Heraclius, despite the chaos of the battlefield swirling around him, accepts. The two leaders meet in the center of the conflict, their weapons gleaming under the pale winter sun. Rhahzadh, a towering figure on horseback, swings his blade in powerful arcs, each strike meant to fell his opponent with sheer force. But Heraclius, smaller and quicker, parries each blow with precision and counters with lightning-fast strikes. The duel is like watching the gods themselves battle, a spectacle that momentarily freezes the war around them. Finally, Heraclius finds an opening. With a swift and decisive strike, he brings Rhahzadh down. The Persian general falls from his horse, lifeless, and the morale of the Persian forces crumbles with him. Watching their leader slain, many Persian soldiers break ranks and flee the battlefield. The disciplined Byzantines press their advantage, cutting down those who stay and chasing the rest into the frozen wilderness. As the sun sets, the battlefield is quiet, save for the groans of the wounded and the cries of the victorious. Heraclius stands amid the carnage, bloodied but unbroken. His gamble has paid off. The Battle of Nineveh is a resounding victory for the Byzantine Empire, a turning point in their long and bitter struggle with the Sassanids. The aftermath of the battle is far-reaching. The Persian Empire, reeling from its defeat, falls into disarray, with internal rebellions and political infighting further weakening its power. Within a year, the Sassanids sue for peace, restoring to the Byzantines the territories and treasures they had lost, including the True Cross. For Heraclius, the victory is a moment of glory, but it comes at a cost. The Byzantine Empire is severely weakened, its resources drained by years of war. Just a few years later, both empires will face an even greater challenge: the unstoppable tide of Arab-Muslim forces that will change the balance of power in the region forever. But for this one, frozen day near the ruins of Nineveh, Heraclius and his soldiers stand as victors. They are weary but united, knowing they have achieved what many thought impossible. Their emperor has proven that courage, strategy, and determination can overcome even the mightiest of foes. It is a legacy that will resonate through the ages, a testament to the resilience and brilliance of the Byzantine Empire in its darkest hour.